Welcome back to Movies on the Brain, where we explore films that charm, inspire, and tug at your heartstrings. I'm Jason, and today we're diving into the quirky and heartfelt world of Not Another Happy Ending. Directed by John McKay, Not Another Happy Ending is a delightful mix of romance, comedy, and the struggle of a writer's creative block. With stand-up performances from Karen Gillan and Stanley Weber, this film is a charming exploration of love, ambition, and finding inspiration in the most unexpected places. In Not Another Happy Ending, we're taken on a journey through writer's block, romantic missteps, and the joy of rediscovering your passion. Let's dive into this whimsical and uplifting story and see what makes it a hidden gem. Now, I'm unable to find its budget or how it did in theaters, but I was able to find out that in US DVD sales it has earned $85,023. Scottish writer Jane Lockhart has received multiple rejection letters before Tom Duval, the Franco-Scottish editor of a struggling publishing company, tells her he will publish her first novel. Overcome with happy surprise, she breaks out in tears. They develop a positive working relationship through the editing process, but she impulsively tells him she won't work with him after she completes her contracted second book, as he changed the title for her debut without her consent. The book is a success, the first big hit Tom has published, and Jane wins an award for Best New Writer. Willie Scott, the screenwriter who presented her with the award, flirts with her on stage, and they end up becoming a couple. Towards the end of her second book, she suffers writer's block. She procrastinates and she begins to imagine the protagonists of the book appearing at awkward moments. Tom is convinced she cannot write because she is excessively happy, inspired by his roommate's theory that great art comes from misery. He tries to make her feel bad to get her writing back on track, but in the process realizes he's in love with her. After finally managing to read what she's written so far, Tom is elated and the two almost kiss. They are interrupted when Jane receives a call from Willie professing his love and proposing. However, on his return, the romance appears to have left their relationship. He takes her for granted and they settle into a dull routine. He finishes writing his screenplay adaptation of her debut, but changes the ending, making it a happy one. Tom suggests he revert to the original ending of the book, but Willie refuses. Upon seeing the changes he made, Jane leaves to finish the book alone in the countryside. Tom follows her with an apology and a suggestion to rewrite the ending. She makes him stay out in the cold until nightfall, but ultimately lets him in. After she blows up at him, they finally kiss. Another inspirational wave hits her. The closing scene is in a cemetery. Jane is saying a few words over a casket. Suddenly, it is announced by Tom that she will be signing copies of her new book, which they take from the casket. Taking her aside, he offers her a new book contract, and they kiss. Now, let's look at the cast and some of their other roles they've had. Karen Gillan as Jane Lockhart. Other roles for Karen Gillan include Nebula in the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise, Sam in Gunpowder Milkshake, and Ruby Roundhouse in Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle and Jumanji The Next Level. Excuse me. Stanley Weber as Tom Duval. Other roles for Stanley Weber include Lyndon in the TV show Britannia, Surge in Let Me Go, and Nathan Wagner in the Origin of Violence. Ian Stecker as Roddy. Other roles for Ian Stecker include Leo Fitz in the TV show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Bones and Lost River, and Private First Class Morgan Chase in Overlord. Freya Maver as Nicola Ball. Other roles for Freya Maver include Margaret Fryer in The Keeper, Mimi McGinnis in the TV show Skins, and Natalie in Modern Life is Rubbish. Amy Manson as Darcy. Other roles for Amy Manson include Anne Bolden in Spencer, Joan in Doom Annihilation, and Merida in the TV show Once Upon a Time. Gary Lewis as Benny Lockhart. Other roles for Gary Lewis include McGloin in Gangs of New York, Douglas in the TV show Rig 45, and Gus in Filth. Kate Dickie as Anne Lefebvre. Fever. The roles for Kate Dickie include Jackie in Red Road, Ford in Prometheus, and General Dox in the TV show Loki. Henry Ian Cusick as Willie Scott. The roles for Henry Ian Cusick include Desmond Hume in the TV show Lost, Marcus King in the TV show The 100, and Russ Taylor in the TV show MacGyver from 2020. Matilda Thorpe as Andrea. Other roles for Matilda Thorpe include Mandy Musgrove in the TV show Desmond's, Nina in One Life, and Auntie Melody in Back to Black. I was looking for a movie I hadn't seen. And when I seen Karen Gillan was in a rom com, I was intrigued. And then I saw it was in Scotland, but I can only think of Braveheart being a movie that I've seen that's set in Scotland. So I was already pretty on board with it. Karen Gillan is perfect as the awkward writer in this. Her facial expressions are perfect for what she's trying to convey. I'm really not familiar with anyone else in this cast, but Stanley Weber seems cast well as the publisher. His reaction to how Jane reacts to him saying he will publish her book after doing some edits was priceless. I did not see a montage so early on in a movie like this, but it works well, I think. To see Jane go from being upset to the change of the name of the book, to the change from being upset to the upset from the change in the name of the book to a book signing and seeing her dad that the book is about to receiving an award for best new writer is such a touching moment, and that was wow. That was a tongue twister, so I'm sorry about that. I imagine writer's block, especially when you're almost done writing a book, is the most difficult thing about being a writer, and Karen Gillan portrays it perfectly. Tom wanting to make Jane miserable so she finishes her second book is so well written and so well by Stanley Weber, even if I do think he's a low life for that part. The dream of beating Willie's head into the typewriter when he asked how many P's are in deprivation was comical, and it really caught me off guard. I kept waiting on the dissension between Jane and her dad, and boy does it hit hard. Tom is such a rude guy to intentionally put Jane through making her hate her dad. The scene where Jane's dad comes to apologize is touching, and I love that she asks if she can be a part of his quiz team. That forced laughter when Jane is about to sign with the new publisher is so comical, but it shows that her character, Darcy, knows Jane likes Tom. Everything with Tom exposing Willie and subsequently getting punched in the nose, and Tom and Jane having their conversation leading to Jane doubting Willie is such a great few scenes because everything that happens is just really interesting. I love the scene with Tom and Jane's dad, and I think that's when Tom really starts to understand Jane. After winning the quiz competition, the fact that Tom catches Jane naked is so funny to me, and it calls back to Willie saying he heard being naked and writing helps with writer's block. It took longer than I thought, but Jane finding out Willie doesn't actually love her hit harder than I thought it would. But it helps her finish her second book, and that's great for Tom. The title of the movie stays true. It's not another happy ending for Jane, or so you would think. A clever ending making us think Tom had died when it was all to promote her second book. Overall, I think it was a really good movie with lots of drama, romance, and comedy. I went in really only knowing who Karen Gillan is, and I enjoyed every second of it. Now for some fun facts and trivia I found out about this movie. In an interview on the film, Karen Gillan admitted that she was really nervous filming the nude scenes because she knew she'd have to sit around all day without any clothes on. But she said once she got so used to it, after a while, she forgot she was naked. In fact, a couple of times when the director called cut, Gillan would get up and walk around talking to people until someone would remind her she forgot to put her robe on. This movie was Karen Gillan's first nude scene. Karen Gillan came onto the project following her heartbreaking departure from Doctor Who. And that's a wrap on my review of Not Another Happy Ending. This film is a charming blend of humor, romance, and creative chaos that reminds us how inspiration often comes from the most unexpected places. If you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like and subscribe to Movies on the Brain for more feel-good movie discussions. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Not Another Happy Ending. Did it bring a smile to your face? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep chasing your own happy endings.